of my work in my PhD, I'm actually looking at kind of reproductive potential and genetic diversity in an intertidal seaweed, Homosira banksii. And so what I've done is that I've made crosses using male and females from different subhabitats, and I'm making pretty much seaweed babies. And what we're trying to see is whether different genotypes will actually respond differently to thermal stress, in hope that we might be able to say something about their physiology and their reproductive based on thermal stress that will be, I guess, included with climate change. A genotype is the genetic makeup. We all have a genetic makeup. It makes our hair brown, it makes our eyes blue, but there's different traits. So for seaweed, they might have a different thermal response trait. So some seaweeds that are exposed to higher thermal stress might be able to withstand higher temperatures, which is a part of their genetic makeup, where ones that are in the lower shore, maybe not exposed to high stress in intertidal, may not have that kind of ability. So what I would like to see is whether this translates to thermal response in a latitudinal basis. So do the ones up in the north of the edge of the distribution in Yamba, do they have a higher thermal response? Are they able to tolerate higher temperatures? Or are they, because they don't have a lot of genetic diversity, they're not able to actually get that type of thermal stress or adaptation, there you go, that's the word I'm looking for, compared to their central populations, the temperate populations.
So that's a really key thing, I understand, is the need for diversity within a species, so that at least one of those characters is going to be able to cope.
Yeah, so we're hoping to see that it's not all doom and gloom for these guys, for the seaweed. Hopefully they do possess that intrinsic capacity to adapt to these warmer climates.
Yep.
And this is what a part of my research is looking at, is whether they actually have this capability.
Yep. So why are these algae important?
So Homosira banksii is kind of like the kangaroo of the fucus world in Australia. They're the only species in Australia of their kind, so they're monoecious. And they actually provide, you find them in temperate areas and platforms, rocky intertidal platforms, and they create these large stands. So they're very much like coral reefs in that they provide resources like 3D habitat, food and shelter, a nursery for juveniles for a lot of different types of animals. So lots of invertebrates or fish or octopus in the rock pools. And if these guys aren't able to withstand increasing temperatures or changes in the length of day or an increase of air temperatures, they're going to be disappearing quite quickly. So, and when you remove something as big as that, you're removing a lot of the species that are involved in it. So a lot of biodiversity will be lost with it.
So is it fair to say that they're kind of like the forests of the sea, a little bit like these kelp forests that I'm wearing?
Absolutely. So we do have a subtidal kelp, Eclonia radiata, which are the big ones, the big subtidal ones, which act very similarly. They make these large stands, but these are kind of like on the cusp of coast, marine and terrestrial. So they're kind of like the forests of the intertidal.
Yes.
But definitely marine, and the animals that live within these two worlds, terrestrial and marine. Yeah, they definitely rely on this.